The first one is, we have a special mold that we get. It's actually from Italy, and the brand is called DecoFlex. And there's a couple of different shapes that it comes in. It comes in a square and in a rectangle. But this one is really special. It's a two-sided mold that's a sphere shape, like this. This is the bottom, and this is the top. So you lay it down like this. You make sure everything's very clean and dry. And this just sits, there's little pegs. It just sits just like this. And sometimes I put a rubber band around it just to keep it from shifting because you want the little spheres to be perfect. We make an infusion with milk and cream and the beautiful Tahitian vanilla beans. And we let it infuse overnight. And when it's cool enough, we put it into a squeeze bottle like this. And then we fill our mold with the infusion. And you just fill up the little cavities just like this, just till it's all the way to the top. And then, once they're all the way to the top, we put it in the freezer. And then you put it in overnight, you forget about it for 12 hours, and then the next day, you take them out of the freezer, and you unmold this. You just peel it back, and then you have all these perfect little spheres, frozen, of milk and cream and vanilla. They're hard, very hard, like ice cubes almost. So we have the little frozen balls, and then what we make is a chocolate mixture, and this is, again, Valrhona chocolate, the guanaja, because we want to have a very similar flavor profile. So we mix, yep, that's the one, exactly. So we have the guanaja, and we heat it up in a bain-marie. For this purpose, I have it in this pot, because it should be nice and warm. And if you're very careful over low heat, then you can heat up the chocolate. This has a little bit of cocoa butter inside added. We use needles, like what you sew with, because it's very fine, it's very thin, and it makes a very, very small hole that will seal up. So we'll get this out, and then we'll get the spheres out of the freezer. So we have our little frozen spheres. We have our little threading needle. And then we have our cocoa powder, which I think we can move over here. And this is very easy. But it's a little bit more complicated than a traditional truffle. Is you just hold it with the needle. You go right inside. The shaker? Yep, he's always the shaker.
He's always the shaker.
Yep. And then you want to get the little drip off the end. You put it inside, just like that. And then this one, it's a little bit more delicate, so we use a spoon. You can shake it, though, if you want. Then I clean the needle every time. And then these, we put, when we're finished, we put them in the cooler as well, because we want that frozen sphere to thaw out. And when it thaws out, that's when it becomes liquid. Perfect. That we have the beautiful plate with two identical truffles on it. You can kind of tell a little bit. The liquid one it's a little bit more spherical than the traditional one. Very beautiful, clean little mound of cocoa powder. And we like this to look very organic and very natural. And then we have one very special truffle on the other. And to the guest, it looks like they could almost be the same, two of one thing. But it's actually a very surprising and very special way to end the meal.